breaks. Them's the breaks. Them is indeed. Them's the breaks. Them's the breaks? That's the break. That's the break. Those are the breaks. We're not playing WoW today. We are. I would love to play WoW today. I really want to play WoW. That means I think I am fully addicted again. But I don't. We got more important things to talk about today. We got Spider-Man stuff. We talking Spider-Mans. Spider-Man's in some shit. I mean. I know what I mean. But do you know what I mean? Right? Exactly. I gotta get the vertical on YouTube set up real quick. Just gotta get the old YouTube there. YouTube vertical there. Get that or gotta get that thing oh yeah, I gotta get the also I need to grab the thumbnail that I originally used for a previous thing, for a previous stream. I gotta take that and I gotta use it for this one because it is still relevant. Just have to find it. It was from when I talked about Sadie Sink not being Jean Grey the first time. And if you missed that stream, I don't blame you, because it was a while ago, and it was not a. Sorry, I'm watching and I'm trying to look and talk at the same time. It's difficult. Not easy. I guess I didn't have a thumbnail for that. Okay. Well, there you go. That solves that. Eliminates the need for a custom thumbnail. That's for darn sure. Alright, cool. Perfect. Right, let me go ahead and use these settings. Say, Spider-Man. Brand new day leaks / rumors to get the juices flowing in the vertical stream. You know, you gotta get those eyes. Get them eyes in there. I'm gonna change the capitalization on here a little bit. Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it's especially relevant because Spider-Man Brand New Day is out very soon. I believe it's out next week? Let me check. No, it's at the end of the month, isn't it? July 31st. Yeah, it's at the end of the month. Alright, so it's at the end of the month, July 31st. It's coming up, it's getting here, and we need to talk about who Sadie Sink is actually playing. I will have a spoiler alert at the very beginning. She was announced for Secret Wars 2, I believe. Yeah, she's got, I think, a 3 or 4 picture deal. Which is very convincing for the case in favor of her playing Jean Grey. But we'll get there, I promise. Still just trying to set things up here. It is a thing. It is indeed a thing. And I promise that I will be your stalwart, ever-present, and loving ambassador into the world of Marvelia, into the world of Marvelia, a multimedic tradition of storytelling that brings the feeling of the theater and the all the things that we talk about into real life. And I'm really rambling. I'm just trying to stall so that I can concentrate on trying to get this other stream set up. I promise. Nothing that I say right now is of substantive value. Nay, but the words I use are said with passion. And can you really deny somebody's passion? I don't think so. Life didn't begin that way, by denying each other's passions. Alright? So don't you dare deny mine. Alright, I did it. I was able to get the other stream set up, so... the stalling can now decommence. If you wish. If I wish, if you wish, if we all wish, everybody wishes. I wish. If I had some wishes from a genie, I'd be a pretty happy boy. A pretty happy boy indeed. Alright. We did it. Congratulations. I feel like the fact that they haven't done shit with the X-Men yet would make it weird to just suddenly be dealing with Jean Grey. I mean, come on, you don't know Hollywood! How dare you, cynical? How dare you try to tell Hollywood how to run itself? How dare you, good sir? I cannot believe you would ever do such a thing. Anywho, I also feel the same. But my theory is even more crazy than that. My theory is like way more outlandish than simply just Jean Grey. And I wish it were true, but I know it's probably not. So I'm going to open up a fresh document, a fresh doc, if you will. All right. And on it, we're going to put things that look like they're happening. And I promise this is all leading somewhere. Things that look like they're happening, right? And then we're going to have things I wish were happening, right? And then we're going to have things that are most likely happening. All right? And the reason why we're breaking it up into 3 different categories is for a very specific reason. It's because not everything that we think could potentially happen is going to happen, definitely. And there are some things that may happen. There are some things that may not happen. But I think the important takeaway here is that I do not believe that Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. That is clickbait. That is an exaggeration. I don't think that she's not playing Jean Grey. I think she's pretty much confirmed to be playing Jean Grey at this point. But let's take a look at the theaters. You got dark mode on this puppy? On what puppy? Maybe after they do their proper reset or whatever. Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe after they do proper reset or whatever and enter a new phase or whatever they call it, just seems weird to introduce one of the X-Men that has basically nothing to do with Spider-Man and never really hung out with him. Oh, you mean my stream manager now for some reason is in dark mode. I don't know why that is, but I don't know that there's a specific dark mode to it. So what we're doing is we're going to talk about, we're going to do each of the, I'm going to look at each of the trailers and we're going to like just kind of look at them just to refresh our memories here. Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. I'm going to take a look at trailer 1, I'm going to take a look at trailer 2. We're going to do this down the line. We're going to do it, you know, oh, Google Docs dark mode. There has to be dark mode. Would there not be? Right? I would assume there has to be a dark mode. Oh, there's an extension. Oh, goddamn. Okay, well, no, see, I don't necessarily care about dark mode. Looking at a white screen's okay. Sometimes make you feel more awake. Wake you up if you're half asleep. All right. So we're going to take a look. Sony Pictures, I guess. Which one is the one I want to look at? 13 days ago. Yeah, okay, so that's the one I'm looking at. It's the same shit. And then 3 months ago, I think that is the extent. Yeah, I think that's it. Otherwise, it's just like concept trailers and like, you know, what people try to describe as behind the scenes, but they're really all just concepts. It's really always concepts. Why is it always concepts? It's always concepts. Stop with all the concepts, let me tell you. All right? So I think this is the second one, and this is the first one. Okay.
I can't believe our first hit MIT.
All right, so I'm not just gonna let it play. That's for all the YouTubers. Okay, maybe I'm trying to be a YouTuber, but that's not. It's you get what I'm saying. I'm not just gonna let it play. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at it. I'm gonna pause it and flip around and like kind of go around different places in the trailer. So please, if you feel like we're just gonna sit here and watch a trailer, then we're definitely not gonna be doing that. We're gonna be breaking it down a little bit as people are wont to do, and I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. I'm going to tell you what I think might potentially it might indicate for the rest of the movie, and I'll give the plot details that I think I've hammered down pretty well, and some of the ones I'm unsure about. We'll just go from start to finish. I'm going to grab some more water, and then I'm going to probably build a bowl, and we're going to get nice and fuzzy before we take a look. What you doing? Crazy? All right. Ah! The hell was that? Was that in the song? Was that in the song's volume? Volume? Was that in the song's volume? Do you like when people overpronounce words? Volume?
I can't believe our first hit MIT. MJ, come on, pretend like you're not the happiest you've ever been in your entire life.
All right, so obviously we have picked up this storyline. I believe begins sort of like a couple of months after the Thunderbolts incident, and so they're no longer applying to MIT. They are now going to MIT. They had a first day at MIT. This kind of falls into sort of what we're talking about already. Things that are most likely happening. Let's say, oh. Hang on. There we go. No bold underline. There we go, okay. Let's say that Peter has probably been fighting crime for maybe a little over a year, maybe a couple of years. Maybe a couple of years, maybe a little, because let's say let's see, after Avengers Endgame, Christmas time was around when he was swinging through the New York, that plaza with the big tree, and the tree was still there. So I think that it had to have happened just before Hawkeye got there, and so he was already on his own. People forgot him. Then we had this whole Thunderbolts, the Skrulls, all that kind of stuff. I think that only happened over like a year, as far as I'm aware. She could be playing Jackpot. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me refresh my memory on who Jackpot is. I don't remember what her powers are. Is she fire powers? Or is she a telepath? Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I think I remember Mary Jane being Jackpot at one point. Where's the powers? I want the powers. What? You're not even gonna give me her powers? What? She's definitely not Mary Jane Watson. If she's Mary Jane Watson and then playing Jackpot, and they're gonna unwind all of that to her becoming just regular Mary Jane Watson when this is all done, I don't know what the point of that would be, like to introduce her in that manner. But you know what? If that's how you want to do it, okay. Sure. A registered superhero, she could be Screwball. Well, still not who I'm thinking. Her powers. I want her powers. Here we go. From the mutant growth hormone combined with several other drugs, superhuman strength, speed, agility, reflexes, stamina, and durability. I don't think so. I don't think so. Screwball Marvel. Oh, she's the social media influencer, right? Performance artist, live blogging supervillain. Yep. I don't think she's Screwball either. No siree, Bob. The Brand New Day comic era was super good. That was Slot's run, I think. Was it not? When he was like rooming up with Boomerang. Peter's probably been fighting crime for maybe a couple of years, maybe a year. The montage that people are saying happens in beginning crawl, I agree with. So I agree that it looks like him fighting Tarantula, him fighting Boomerang. It looks like those are really just sort of like, hey, you know, guess what the last year of my life has looked like. You know, it's going to be sort of like that montage that they did for the Fantastic Four movie. I think it's going to be kind of like that sort of deal, and that's really I think that we are going to pick up with him fighting Scorpion. I think like the first scenes of the movie are going to be possibly him fighting Scorpion and finding out that there's something going on with him. So let's just say opening scene is likely Scorpion battle. And I don't think that it's Scorpion saying you've changed, or that you're getting more extreme or something like that. I think it's like a hint of something, a hint of somebody that we don't necessarily know. So it could be that the Scorpion battle is like just really, really early in the movie, but it has to be after this montage, right? There are other details. I'm trying not to just give what I think are spoilers. I'm trying not to give my theory of what's happening here before we see the trailers and before we really talk about them a little bit, because it's out there, and I want to kind of put a potential, like a reasoning behind it and why I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking, because it's just going to sound ridiculous if I just say it. Okay, so we still have to set this up.
I can't.
I knew it.
So they're off.
My name
They're
is Peter.
they're living their lives without Peter. They don't know who Peter is. They don't know that Peter is Spider-Man. They know that Spider-Man exists. They know that he was involved in some events that happened central to New York, and they know that he helped save the city a couple of times. Like, they know all that stuff, but because of Doctor Strange's spell, they don't know who Spider-Man is. They don't know who what his true identity is. All right. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that most people already know that, but just in case y'all are coming in fresh, coming in hot from the previous installment, No Way Home, then you know, you're gonna need that little bit of that context, because maybe it's been a while since you paid attention to anything Spidey related. All right. What's up, Valez?
Peter Parker. You don't remember me, but we used to know each other. Something bad was going to happen, and the only way...
And if you don't remember, this is a very fun little touching letter that he wrote at the end of the last installment, and we heard him reading it before he was basically like, "Nah, man, I gotta go be Spider-Man. I'm sorry." So this is just the continuation of that. I think they probably redid it, rewrote it a little bit, cleaned it up. And I keep in the beginning when this first was announced. And Daredevil, the season finale of Daredevil hadn't happened yet, And I was like, dude, it's still possible that she could just be fulfilling his duties while he's still in office. Like that, like that doesn't, just because you have your assistant mayor, or the person who's in charge, like your not press secretary, your secretary of office, your secretary of state, whatever that would be on a city level, staff, chief of staff, whatever. So you get that. And you can have them go and do mayoral duties. Like, you don't have to be present for this kind of stuff, especially if you don't like vigilantes, you know? So it was just weird that people were like, oh, you know, that's the reason why we know that Fisk isn't mayor anymore. It could be a bunch of different reasons. It doesn't necessarily have to not be mayor there. I just thought that was funny.
The way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a fan!
So I think that this scene is supposed to be like sort of it's framed to look like the beginning of the movie. And I disagree with any speculation that it is the beginning of the movie. I think that this is sort of like after, like, we do the montage, right? We do the montage, then we do the Scorpion fight, and I think at that point, we kind of like, because, okay, how do I describe this? In a lot of the superhero movies that we see, there's something that sets up the hero in his heyday. There's something that sets up where we're picking up from and reintroduces the hero. It's not just for like fresh audiences, I don't think. I think it's more so to reestablish, welcome us back to the world. And, you know, Superman, the James Gunn one, not yet Man of Tomorrow, but the Superman that came out that James Gunn did started this in a very simple way. They said, you know, 30 years ago or whatever, Superman came to the planet, and then 3 minutes ago he like started a fight or something like that. 3 seconds ago he lost that fight, and then you see him start mid-fight, and then he like zooms in, he comes back, they do all this, you know, he does the healing stuff, they introduce all this exposition. That's sort of the vehicle for a movie, like where you establish who the character is, you establish what he's all about, so that fresh audiences can get an idea of who he is and what he's all about before the movie even starts. So you want to see him take part in a dust-up, maybe a montage of different dust-ups, and then you want to see him in real time battling against somebody that poses somewhat of a threat. So we see that scene where Scorpion like slams him against the wall, which we'll see in the next trailer. Another thing that is happening is the Scorpion fight is the establishing scene. And right after that, we're probably going to get, you know, him at a time of rest. So like that could be when we see him in the beginning of this trailer here, where he's like sitting on the girder. And my hope, I think everyone's hope, is that people who make these movies learn from the past and don't keep putting all of their the entire film into the trailer. And albeit Supergirl kind of did that, which is a little bit mildly infuriating. But movies, I think, are kind of steering away from that. And Marvel especially, because people have been hammering against Marvel this entire time about how, god damn, you guys just keep putting your entire movie in the trailers. Stop telling the entire story. Stop giving it all away. You know? You're giving away potential plot twists. You're giving away all this extra stuff for no reason. No reason at all. Let's just maybe tell the story. You know, tell a little bit of the story. Give a little snippet, leave them wanting more. You know? I think that's a good approach. But so, after the Scorpion, like we get him at a moment of rest, is when we see him on the girder, and then we see, so like, timeline. I don't think we'll get him sitting on the girder at the very beginning of the movie. I think that we will start opening crawl without bold underline. Start opening crawl. Villain, lower tier villain. montage. Open on Scorp Fight, where we see sort of the inkling, the beginning of things happening, right? You want to see tiny details that'll lead into the threads of the next portion of the movie. So during the Scorp fight, we get both his eyes turning black, maybe we get like his extra display of strength, something that indicates that something's off with him, plus maybe a little mention. He goes like, oh, something's been off with me lately, or something like that, you know? Like in the trailer. Then we get the moment where Scorp says, oh, you know, it's not like you, Spidey, or something like that. You know, in the second trailer, we'll see it. But that could be like sort of where we get the inkling that maybe someone's out there hopping consciousnesses. When we watch the movie later on, when we rewatch it, we look at this moment, we go like, oh shit, you know, that could be a part of the plot. Like, I'm surprised I didn't notice that before, you know? You'll never notice this the first time you watch through it. Like that kind of sensational stuff. So, opening crawl, lower tier villain montage, open to the Scorp fight, then you go, like, Spidey goes home, right? Spidey goes home. That's where you see just your slice of life, how things are happening for him. He's going to school, he's learning, he's you know, he's probably studying under somebody. Okay, he's probably studying under somebody. He's probably trying to learn more about, you know, because Peter's a genius. Peter is a very smart guy. He makes all his own gadgets, so he's on the level of. I'm just gonna spit a random name out there. He's probably on the level of like a Miles Warren. You know, just to not be super overt about what I think is going on. Hang on, let me. All right, so what I think is going on when Spidey goes home during the little slice of life, the shit that we see where, you know, you see the hero at rest, is I think he's going to school, and we'll just let this go.
Whimpering. Suit yourself. Mother.
Go home.
And sometimes.
So he's going to school at NYU, or there was a different school that he was in the comics. God damn, what was the school he went to? Oh my god. Empire State? What's up, Imaunik? How's it going? Midtown High. And then Midtown School, Science of Technology. Which college? Columbia University, okay. I did not know that he went to Columbia. Wow. What's your name? Goose. Goose is my name. It's there in the channel name. It's pretty easy to see. You just look at it.
Sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart.
Now, we don't know who this is. I'm guessing that he's just going to be like sort of a throwaway character, like maybe a mock Paul. Maybe they'll name him Paul so that he can be, you know, like the audience's punching bag, so they have someone to root against when they're trying to push, like ship Spidey and his real life wife.
What is happening to me?
With the real actual villain of the movie in these beginning scenes. I'm fucking just guaranteeing you that that's how that plays out. Guaranteeing you. We see the true villain of the movie in the first casual scene of the movie. And my guess, again, spoilers potentially, is that the real big bad is none other than Miles Warren, aka the frickin' Jackal. the frickin' Jackal. If you're unfamiliar with who the Jackal is, he is a geneticist who is very well known in the comics for creating clones of Spider-Man, and ultimately just trying to give him a real bad time because he stole away, quote-unquote, the love of Miles' life, Gwen Stacy. Do I think that Miles Warren is cloning Peter in this movie? No. Would it be really cool? Yeah. I'm one of the few people in the entire world who actually enjoyed the Clone Saga. So I would love for that to happen. Things I wish were happening. So Miles Warren being the Miles Warren being the villain is very unlikely. But I hope they do it. But I hope that they take the plunge, and I hope that they really do the crazy thing, and I hope that they do it. I hope that they really, like, just throw balls to the walls, and sorry if you were listening on headphones, I did just collide with the mic. Miles Warren being the big bad is very unlikely. Also, I just want to throw this out there right now before we talk about anything else, but the Venom suit is very unlikely. The only thing that I think would allow for that to happen is the fact that Damage Control is the one who took the suit in the first place. Or at least the one who took that little glob of venom in the first place. I think that's going to happen during Secret Wars. I think that's a big moment that people are anticipating. I think that they really want to pay that off. And it's my guess that they're likely just going to wait for Secret Wars to come out, and then they're going to give him that iconic moment, like in the Secret War, on the Secret War cover, where he finds out that he has like the black suit. And then I think we're probably going to get a nod to hey, what's up, Maya? I think we're going to get a nod to the third Spider-Man movie from Sam Raimi, where he talks about like the power and how, like, you know, how good he feels with the suit on. We're definitely going to get a Bully Maguire moment, and I think they're definitely saving that for other movies. That's just, there's so much happening in this movie already that I don't think that they're going to introduce the black suit. I just don't think, that's not, if it's anywhere in the movie, it's probably going to be in like a post-credit scene where they're in a lab at Damage Control. The events of the movie have already happened, and like there'll be like a it's cylinder where the suit goes, or like the blob goes like against the thing, and that'll be the end. Like that'll be it, right? That'll be the tease that we get. Because chances are, whatever little piece of venom is in there has seen Peter's heroics and realizes that Peter is the perfect host, because that's kind of why the suit like glommed onto him in the first place. And so there you go. That's my guess. I don't think it's going to show up in this movie, and I think I have a good strong basis for that to be true. And again, maybe the only other way that I could see that happening is if Peter dies in this, and then the suit finds him. It somehow escapes from containment, and it finds him at the graveyard, seeps into his grave, and brings him back to life. And then we get another like Kraven's Last Hunt final panel moment thing, you know? So that, I mean, we saw this. Obviously, all of this stuff we've seen before. I am really just rehashing trailers that we've already seen, so a lot of this might not even be new information. I am sure if you've seen Dead Behind the Eyes, Eric Voss's videos, if you've seen anything on Heavy Spoilers, if you've seen anything on the other Ryan Aries channel, then you already know all this stuff. But this is just for me to organize my thoughts, and for me to be able to take things in sort of a linear fashion in my brain, because I have such a weird chaotic brain. So this is either at the DODC, or this is at Miles Warren's personal thing. So there's a guy in this. So I guess
Excuse me, Dr. Banner. I need your help.
What did you say your name was?
Did you see the Sony announcement about physical discs? Yeah, funny how that came out like right after there was all that pushback about GTA 6. Like, are they really just trying to like stroke their ego that badly? Like, they think that they're that emotionally damaged from players being unhappy about the physical disc situation, so they're like, let's make this ubiquitous. Let's make sure that we, tell them. I don't think that they're implementing this in response to that. but I think they're announcing that they're implementing it in response to the pushback. Which is so fucking stupid. Just make a physical goddamn disc. I understand that it's like, yeah, we don't want discs in landfills, and discs are no longer like a cost-friendly media, even though that's insane. But like, just make the disc. People like collecting the discs. Just make the discs, even if they're just collector's items, you know? Fuck. Just give the audience, give the fans what they want. Like, make the game better, stop monetizing everything, and then just fucking, like, be an ethical company, goddammit. Yeesh. So the part with the Punisher is, I'm gonna say, like, this would be leading up to the part with the Punisher. So if we're watching this, like, I think, you know, he's reflecting, he's having, you know, his time. They just don't want to do discs because it gives them full control, so every sale of the game goes to them, no resales. I mean, that's even worse. Like, that's even more of a evil villain sort of thing. Alright, I am going to go ahead and turn off the face cam. If you know, you know. There's only one good reason why I would ever turn off the face cam. Yep, greed is why they're doing it. Oh yeah, absolutely. I do not disagree in any capacity with that. It is absolutely greed. It's always greed, man. It's always greed. Alright, we're about to smash this bowl up, which means I may have to remind myself what I was talking about, but that's what happens when you get stoned, you know? Brain gets all foggy. Alright, give me 1 second. We're gonna... I'm already full of... My bowl is full. And so we're about to crush it. I'm gonna count it down. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and smoke them if you got them. And to that I also say cheers. I will be right back. Well, yeah, Cynical, what you're describing is exactly what companies like Blizzard and Valve were afraid of in the first place when people started talking about having games exclusively run on keys. This is the exact scenario. Like, what happens if your online catalog goes away? Will my product go away? And the answer to that's always fucking yes. You know, like what do you think? And it's so funny, like, there are people now who get upset over game studios shutting down after, like, 10, 12 years or what, like, after a very long time. And they're like, you know, why couldn't they at least, like, keep servers online? What the fuck are you talking about? That's not how businesses operate. They don't operate to serve you. Which is, I think, another thing about the tipping thing that just gets me so much is that people actually think that restaurants are like a public service. God damn, dude. That's definitely a global view. Like, that is absolutely not a domestic view. Restaurants, for anyone who needs to hear it, I don't know if there's just some random teenager who's considering buying a restaurant or considering going out to eat or something like that, like, it needs to know why restaurants exist. They don't exist to feed people. That's fucking dumb. Like, you can feed yourself at home if you're not a fucking weirdo. Like, you can feed yourself at home. It's very easy. You know, top ramen, boiling water, bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Very simple, very easy, very cheap. Restaurants exist to make money. And the reason why people say that going into restaurant business is such a bad venture is because they don't make a lot of money, but they make money. The entire goal, it's always to make money. It's just because a place doesn't make the most money doesn't mean it doesn't make money. It means it makes money. It's just that if you go into it making money, you're probably going to have a very hard time. Every business exists to make money. That's why they're called businesses. So I think directly after this is when we get the Punisher, the whole Punisher deal, like where he encounters the Punisher and he's like trying to stop him. And in that moment, I think the Punisher is coming off the heels of his special presentation. And my personal theory, I don't know if this holds any water whatsoever, but my personal theory is that for the beginning of his special presentation, he was potentially being manipulated by whatever force would be controlling him, not necessarily in like a malicious manner, but more so in a callous manner, and in an effort to get him to either save this person or to wage war against the person that this person is entrapping this person or something. There's some like drive that is forcing whoever is jumping consciousnesses to influence Frank in some way. I think that'd be really cool. You know, he's like being tormented by the visions of his dead buddies, and then like we see like a little offhand mention in the Spider-Man movie where it's like, you know, I knew that would work, like I knew that would get you to me, or something like that, you know. I doubt they're going to connect it. I think maybe they're just leaving that probably in people's headcanon, but that is my headcanon. So we get to the point where this is like sort of midway through Act 1, where we've seen the slice of life, we've seen a call to action, and Punisher's tearing through the city, chasing an APC, a bulky APC, and it's just shooting at Spider-Man, it's shooting at Punisher. Other people have already covered the idea that they're not shooting with any kind of specific accuracy, like maybe they're actually not trying to kill anyone, etc. Yada yada. We all know that. So yeah, I think at this point we're all pretty aware from the Ms. Marvel series that DODC has access to some pretty military grade technology, and this could be like a remnant from the Daredevil series where they just had like all that armor on the docks, but I'm pretty sure Daredevil and what's her face blew all that stuff up. I'm not sure. I don't know where else you'd get an armored you know, essentially a tank, an APC, an armored personnel carrier. I don't know where you would get access to something like that if it wasn't, you know, because it's an old lady, right? Like the jumping consciousness, or the jumping mind jumper or whatever has hopped into an old lady, and I guess is using her to escape whatever confinement they're in. I doubt they're in the raft. It seems like this is all sort of city based, though it would make sense if it was somewhere high maximum security sort of place like the raft, especially because raft is like really sort of a Spider-Man thing anyway. Whatever, it's in all the Marvel comics. It's kind of hard to just say that's a Spider-Man thing. But it was in the video game. I think it's been in other, no, I was gonna say I think it's been in other iterations of the movies, but I don't think it has. There we go. Sorry, I had to charge my phone. I had to put my phone into charging mode. But yeah, so we are, and it's possible that the Punisher helped this person escape in the first place. Maybe they saw them being captured. Maybe they were, you know, pressed into service by somebody externally. Like they approached the Punisher and they were like, "You got to help my friend and my family member, whoever. You got to help this person." And they tried to help them escape, but maybe this could be like the person came to Frank and they were like, "I need your help," and now they're going back to where the body is, the person's body, so that they can help them escape, etc., etc. You know, all different kinds of different ways that this could go, but I think it's just the voice that travels brains is trying to escape. The Punisher is trying to either help them or deter other people. This whole movie seems like the Punisher's trying to help this person. All right, so it's pretty clear, and it could either be through manipulation or telepathic, you know, mind control or whatever. But as it is right now, we think that this person the Punisher is trying to help this person, and that's our understanding currently. The movie could prove differently, but we don't know yet. I used to play these long YouTube funk mixes in the coffee shop I ran in GTA RP all the time, so hearing it makes me nostalgic for that, which is kind of a weird association, admittedly. Well, I mean, it seems like you guys poured a lot of your heart and soul into those positions, and it seemed like it was a fun gig, so it's understandable.
Mother.
Go home!
You know, the fact that he says go home means that he didn't arrive there with the Punisher very clearly, and he doesn't want him there, so, but he doesn't clearly know, like, the association, so it's very clear that, like, you know, he just doesn't know what's going on yet. So I don't think that this was like just a happenstance thing and the Punisher tried to jump in. This was, I think, the Punisher was accompanying this person back to their body.
And sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. What is happening to me?
Also, I want you to take a look. I want you to take a look at his outfit, you know?
What?
So it looks like it's like a three-piece fabric here, right? It's different. Like you've got it might be either a hood that's sewn into the jacket or just he's wearing a hood under the jacket. But he's got this jacket that appears to be
Is happening to me?
leather? Fleece? Something. But it appears to be either leather or fleece. But my guess is probably
What
jean
is
or
happening?
corduroy. But he looks wet. He's been out in the rain. My point here is I want you to note the outfit. This has been in all the promotional material instead of, like, I mean, of course he's had a lot of, you know, just shots in the Spider-Man suit, but this outfit particularly has been in a lot of the promotional material. And in the new, the theatrical poster promotional trailer, poster promotional material for theaters and stuff, he's wearing the same outfit. Just keep that in mind, okay? This is my conspiracy theory brain here. I'm putting on my tinfoil hat for a moment. And I'm gonna say, just for things that I wish were happening, is Peter's outfit. Hooded jacket. Just to, as a placeholder until I reveal what I'm thinking, okay?
Happening to me?
So I would guess, my guess is that after this whole thing, so like we'll just fast forward here because I don't think that has anything to do with, or not. I'm sorry. I want to do this linearly, right? So I'm gonna fast forward to the next part that I think happens in this sequence.
Cycles. It can leave the spider vulnerable to threat.
So that's Jean, right? That's supposed to be Jean, and so she's jumping consciousnesses.
We are faced
right?
with a danger.
But so they've broken into what looks like a lab. If you notice, like this looks like a lab / prison, right? And to me, to my eye, that's DODC. If I have to guess, right? I think most people probably agree that that's probably DODC, right? So he breaks into DODC. They thank Spider-Man. They're like, hey, thanks, whatever. And maybe he noticed, he's like, say, hey, it looks like there's lab equipment here. And he's like, maybe he's already aware that something's happening to him or something like that. He's like, hey, it looks like you have lab equipment. It looks like you have, whatever. So after, so this part here where I was describing his outfit, if you see, he's wearing it here, right? And sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the first moment here. Yeah, okay. So he's wearing it in this, and then he's wearing it in this, bringing the DODC in does sort of lend credibility to Marvel starting up the X-Men stories, to be fair. So would Miles Warren being the villain, because he's a geneticist with a specialty in mutation. And he very easily could be about the age of Keith David. Just saying. And Miles, what is it, Tillman, who is in this, could potentially be a younger Keith David. And Jackal was very obsessed with wanting to be younger, or wanting to put his mind into a younger body, or wanting to find a way to be immortal, or, you know, he was always kind of obsessed with that, like survival. He was very obsessed with survival, which could lend some credibility to the idea that, you know, perhaps he might be able to find a way to put his consciousness into things, and perhaps he might be able to manipulate someone to, like, transfer consciousnesses, like maybe a really powerful telepath, potentially. And if he's able to manipulate them or control their mind or do something and make them do something like that, even if they are also trying to get free, maybe perhaps he could potentially move his consciousness into, you know, somebody, a younger body or whatever, or potentially be like talking through her or something. Right? I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's indeed possible. But so he's wearing this here again, and hang on. Where else? He's wearing it again here. Okay, so what is the progression here? This is probably his slice of life, right? This is probably the moments that I was talking about. Opening crawl, lower tier villain montage. It could maybe. Nah, see, I don't want to rearrange all of my theories. It could be entirely different. It could be maybe they're just gonna go with a nice gentle opening, like it could open on the party, right? It could open on because here's what I think is happening in my mind. He goes to see his aunt at the graveyard. He's wearing that outfit, and then he goes to the party where Ned and MJ are. He's wearing the same outfit, and then I'm guessing that right before he's about to, like, tell them anything, he's called to the scorpion fight. He, like, gets a spider sense, something happens, and he goes to the scorpion fight. Then when he comes home, it's been raining potentially. He had to stash his clothes somewhere, so they definitely got wet. And or he was still wearing his outfit and just put on his mask. And when he got home is when he collapsed. Then when he wakes up is probably when we see all of this shit right here. And what is that? What is Mr. Why does he have a rotten hand? Why does he have a rotten hand? Like it's clearly not just like, it's not webs and shit, because that's all, like, you know, outside. That's on the outside there. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? You know? Like, what the fuck? So, and here's the question I think that I don't think I've even really thought about yet is, what is going on with Peter? You know? So in the comics, Peter's a mutate, which is a person who was augmented in some way, be it the super soldier serum, be it gamma radiation, or a bite from a spider, and is then given powers that are similar in scientific fashion and biology or whatever to being a mutant. But they are not actual, like, mutants. Nor, I think, are they given the right to live on Krakoa, which, I mean, is gone now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that they're part of the mutant community either. Though they were lumped in when fear of mutants was a big thing for like the 15th time in the history of Marvel Comics. But what's up with the rotten hand? What's up with the like, it looks like maybe you're turning into a spider? You know? There was some hint that he might get the ability to do Toby-style web shooters at some point. Oh yeah, they gave that away in the trailer, big time. Most recent one. You see, he gets organic web shooters. And even then, you can see, I mean, it's clear that he does it there because he doesn't have shooters, and he's able to suspend himself somehow, so. It's pretty, I mean, that's, you know, I think we all know what's happening there. So, okay. So let's say opening crawl, lower tier villain montage, sitting on girder. Then he goes, he like gets unsuited or whatever. He like he desuits. Well, it could be another web shooter from above shooting down to grab him. I mean, I guess. But that's what is that called? That's not pedantic. What is it? Redundant? No. What is that? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Ay. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's probably like the first time we see it. Could just be an intentional bait and switch, I guess. But the newest trailer absolutely gives it away. Like you see web coming out of his wrist. It's definitely an organic, and I think audiences are getting a little more comfortable with that. It's weird. I'll give it that. Like it's definitely weird. But I think audiences are a little more comfortable with it these days. They're more accepting of the idea. Okay, so he's sitting on the girder, and then he has to go get dressed, visits aunt, then goes to party, tries once again to introduce himself to friends. That's right, you heard me burp. Scorp fight. Spidey goes home, passes out, wakes up in web cocoon, with take my small hand, and that's good. Take my small hand. All right. I think that's the progression so far, is the opening crawl with Boomerang and Tarantula and all that kind of stuff, which is the lower tier villain montage. And he's like, I think this is when he's like talking. I think he's like, you know, saying, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man. I wish I could have friends. I'm very depressed." And then that's when we see him sitting on the girder after all of his victories. We get that lowering the boom moment where it's like, oh, but he's really sad. And then he does that drop down thing where he's like, well, but I gotta go do what I gotta do. And then we have Spider-Man, brand new day. Blah, 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 Marvel. You know, the title screen. That's my guess. Credit me with this correctness if this is exactly how it happens, because I have a feeling this is exactly how it fucking happens. All right? Don't cyberbully me. I'm very good at guessing things. So then I'll say like, title screen, boom, 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 right? So then he goes and gets dressed. He visits his aunt. It's an emotional moment. We get that, you know, the pangs of remaining grief from the previous entry. And then he goes to a party, and that's when the audience sees, once again, refresh our memory that the friends exist and who the friends are and all this kind of stuff. And he we refresh our memory about him like being forgotten. And so then we see him try to introduce himself again. He sees that MJ has a potential other love interest or whatever. And but then he gets called away at the last moment to go fight Scorpion. And, you know, he's probably tired of this at this point. And he gets a little more angry at Scorp. And I'm guessing we might get a little nod to Superior Spider-Man. I don't think he's going to punch his jaw off, but I think he's going to maybe like dislocate his jaw or something. He's really going to fuck him up. Because we want to communicate that something's changing within Pete. And we got to reflect that in like his enhanced abilities, right? And in the comics, Spider-Man... What? I mean, power scalers have debated Spider-Man's strength. And it is kind of dependent on the plot. So I can give them credit in the way that they are very dedicated to his strength level being accurate. But like, he's strong as he needs to be, I think. He can't like lift planets or anything. Like he can't, well, I guess now he probably could. He's got all the enhanced abilities now. But before, like he couldn't really, he could lift a building, but not like a skyscraper, you know? Like he's capable of great feats of strength, but not immense feats of strength. I would say that he's maybe on Shang-Chi levels. Right? If you're used to like that era of, I'm talking specifically Dan Slott's run. But if you're like familiar with his status in that era. But now he's like, you know, now he's been in space. He's increased his power level by quite a lot. He's like super strong now because he can take out that dude that was like, you got to increase your strength level and then come and challenge me again, and he did. He did, and he did well. There you go. And he's also died a bunch. And he was a wizard, Sorcerer Supreme for a bit. Or he had the powers of him. I don't think he actually was Sorcerer Supreme. Kind of wild. He's had kind of wild run lately. Kind of a wild run lately. Right? So he gets stressed, goes with his aunts, goes the Scorp fight. Scorp's like, oh, you're not yourself, Spidey. Spider goes home, passes out, wakes up in a web cocoon with Take My Small Hand.
Dr. Banner, I need your help.
What'd you say?
And so I think that he is in school. This is at the school that he's going to, Columbia or New York State, whatever. And so he's not necessarily a student of Professor Hulk, but he's going in to ask him questions because something's going on with him. He needs to talk to a person who might know something about it. And so he's smart enough. He probably might have some preliminary ideas of what's going on, but he needs an expert in the field. Gosh darn it! And if there's a guy that can help, you know, it's probably someone who does a little bit of shifting and changing of his own, right? So there you go. That's probably he didn't even have to make an excuse to go there. He probably already goes there and just like sat in on a class or something. Because he's in the other trailer, he's like, "You're not one of my students, are you?" A little contrived, but that probably explains it.
If DNA is mutating, it would be enormously dangerous.
And that's the nod. Do you see that? That's the nod to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where he does that. He does the thing where he's like, and it just like goes wee, like it just falls like on the ground, and he like does another one, and it catches a bird or something. Like, good stuff. Patrick, what's up? How you doing? But like he's doing like the cool like slingshot thing, which is man, I love doing that in the I think it's Spider-Man 2.
Enormously dangerous.
I think you do the slingshot in Spider-Man 1.
Spiders have...
See, so this is okay. So this has to be after the party. But why is it still bright? Why is it still daylight out? What's up, Brad? You know what I mean? Like, why is it still day? Because when he gets home is when he passes out, right? That's when his outfit's wet. And I'm telling you, keep paying attention to this outfit. I think it's relevant. Honestly, I do. I genuinely think that his outfit is relevant. Why else is it in all the promotional materials? Not all of it, but most of the promotional materials. I think there's some relevance here. What's up, Helmet? How's it going? I think that there's there's going to be a conflux of a few different things that are going to happen by the end of the movie that are going to make fans go like, what the fuck? I swear to God. And maybe that's just me being like really wishful thinking or something, but I think it's possible. Honestly, I think there could be some crazy comic book shit going on. And if the villain's who I think it is, then I think that there's potential. I think there's potential there. Maybe, again, things I wish were happening. Comic book shit. I always do the Spider-Man web into the sink after I do something. Come on, man. Blowing your nose. God damn. Yeah, you guys. So his outfit when he's at the party is not drenched in rainwater, right? And I don't think that it's wet when he's fighting the Scorpion. Yeah, no, there's no rain on the ground or anything like that. So I don't think that this is near the end of the movie or anything. I hope not. I don't know. I guess he looks too stuck into it by the time, all that chaotic shit starts happening. By what I assume is the third act, I don't know. I think this is still in the beginning of the movie. I think it's still in the establishing shots, like all the what is it? Not subtext, exposition. I think this is still like in the exposition zone, He's doing the sitting on the girder thing. Title screen. Gets dressed, visits aunt, but it starts raining. And his clothes are not damp when he's at the party. I know I keep repeating this, but I'm trying to refresh my own memory here. Doesn't look damp there, does it? No, his hood looks
Sometimes
dry.
Spider-Man has to do the hard thing.
But it's nighttime. Get what I'm saying? So how does that happen? So clearly, it's not raining during the Scorpion fight. Nor is it raining during the party. So those have to happen the same night. That probably is still in the beginning of the movie. Then because this is nighttime. Sorry, my stone brain is moving at like a mile a second? No, a second. A mile. God damn it! It's moving like molasses. My stupid brain is in my head right now, and I am trying to process this. My GPU, my personal GPU, is currently on fire. So, the first night, it's not raining. It's dry. His outfit is dry. He goes to the party dry. He gets called to the Scorpion fight dry. After the Scorpion fight, he's not wet, so he doesn't come home and pass out. After he fights Scorpion, that's got to be when we see the next, where he's at his university, right? This is a new Spider-Man movie. No, not yet. Where does the Webberoni tie? Webberoni? The Little Caesars movie tie-in thing they're doing? What? I want Little Caesars. I want Spider-Man themed Little Caesars. Little Caesars.
Even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart.
Right. So going to visit his aunt had to have happened on this night.
What's happening to me?
Oh, wait. Shit, no, because that looks dry, too. I thought he looked wet. I can't help it. I thought he looked kind of wet. I thought Petey looked a little wet in that scene. It was just his hair because he's sweating profusely. God damn it. I was totally wrong. His outfit is dry. His outfit is dry! His outfit is dry! Spider-Man's dry! It's just his hair that's moist. Oh, my world is shattered. Alright, so good. Okay. So that's that. Then I don't have to be racking my brain trying to figure out how this is supposed to work. You know? Maybe Hulk gave him a blow dry, but he's still sweaty. Potentially, yeah, that also could happen. Alright, so he doesn't get dressed and go to his aunt's house, or aunt's. Well, I guess that is kind of her house. She's dead, so that's kind of her house. I guess it makes sense. You live in your casket when you're dead, do you not? That's your dwelling space. Your needs are very limited at that point, so you don't need to really like function. But you can live there, right? Once you're dead, you can live in a grave. I would say you occupy it, not live in it. Yeah, but that's assuming that the consciousness isn't still in the body. That's one of the theories, actually. One of the prevailing theories about the afterlife is that our consciousness stays in our body when we die, and that we're just locked in an endless torment, like fully aware. Is that not fucking terrifying? Is that not fucking terrifying to you? Like, that's fucking terrifying. Space dust. Fucking terrifying. I mean, I guess at some point you wouldn't know how to interpret any of that, even if your consciousness did remain. It'd be more likely to be a dreamlike situation where the brain broke down enough not to be able to do that anymore. Well, yeah, and at some point it doesn't, like at some point it doesn't, the brain is just gone, right? Like it's rotted away. So there's nothing to hold, there's no vessel left, right? I don't know how that could work. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think that's possible. I'm talking myself out of it. Nope. I'm done listening. Nope. Don't cyberbully me. So he goes to the party, tries once again to introduce himself to his friends, then he gets called away to the Scorp fight at the last moment. Spidey goes home, passes out, wakes up in a web cocoon with a take my small hand. And he's got like a sort of evolution of powers, right? He's got organic web shooters. They're still themed, because we don't know this yet as the movie-going audience, but he's still a spider totem, all right? And he's going to remain a spider totem until we go through that storyline. I hope that we never do, because it was very frowned upon by general audiences, and I have a feeling it would actually lose Marvel money if they tried to make that into a movie. Listen to me, Kevin Feige, listen. This video is specifically for you, Kevin Feige. This live stream is specifically for you, Kevin Feige. I know you're listening, because you have an active feed on all live media at all times. Alright? So, don't ignore me. Okay? Don't click away. Don't you dare fucking click away, Kevin. Listen to every goddamn word I'm saying, every goddamn sultry tone. Ah! 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 This summer.
Excuse me, Dr. Banner. I need your help.
What did you say your name was? If DNA is mutating, it would be enormous.
Yeah, so obviously that has to be part of the timeline. He's because he's wearing his web shooters while his Peter Tingle is freaking out, you know. So I honestly feel like, damn it, my timeline's off. I feel like my timeline's off. Oh, you know what he could be saying? He could just be introducing this. Like, this could be during the montage, you know? Like, he's like, oh, and lately my powers have been going all crazy, you know? And so then we kind of get the first glimpse of it, and then we get sort of a reinforcement when he's fighting Scorpion, and then he passes out, wakes up in the cocoon, and now here we are.
If DNA is mutating, it would be enormously dangerous.
spiders have 3 life cycles.
And we still, to this date, have not seen Keith David in any of the promotional material, none of the TV spots, nothing. That's why, I mean, if you're gonna go to these lengths to cover up his voice when or to cover up his face when his voice is in the trailer as in a voiceover, you don't just hire this man to do a cameo and then go, hey, thanks, Keith David. Thanks, Keith David. Thanks a lot. I didn't take it out for air. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Keith David. Go back to Rick and Morty now. Thanks. Ta-ta. You don't just do that. You roll out the fucking red carpet for the man. You let him sit in fucking makeup for 6 hours getting top-notch prosthetics. Right? And then you're pasting his body into a fucking full-body girdle so that he can look like a relatively skinny man. Or you make him take a bunch of Ozempic. And then say that he's eating chicken and rice for 8 months. Boy, this got weird. And then you bring him on set and you let him play the goddamn jackal. All right? That's how you treat Keith David. You don't tell him to go back to Rick and Morty. He doesn't belong to Rick and Morty. You don't tell him to go back to Rick and Morty. You bring him right here. You bring him here, you tell him Spider-Man needs you. All right? Sorry to raise my voice. But you needed to hear it.
When between cycles, it can leave the spider vulnerable to threats.
We are faced with a danger that we can't control. One we can't even see.
So, Tillman what if Miles Warren is simply just looking for someone that looks younger than him? Like maybe he's operating at the top of this guy's... Because this guy I don't think is DODC. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that if Keith David is trying to play someone who might potentially clone someone, maybe he's got a younger body out there who is acting on his behalf that he plans to put his consciousness in should anything ever go wrong. Potentially. As just a little side thing, maybe. I'm just posing I'm just asking questions. Alright? I'm just asking questions here. Okay? You can't hold me responsible for the wheels starting to turn in your head if I happen to present an idea like that. Alright?
Stay out of my way.
You lose. And so that's sort of the only time when we see that, where he's like, where we think that maybe potentially Sadie Sink's character might be speaking through Scorpion.
Stay out of...
The Xbox 360 is now older than the NES was when the 360 came out. Pretty crazy perspective. Yeah, we're getting old. You don't have to keep reminding me. We're all getting old. We're all a bunch of old fuckers. You know? Getting old. Getting super old. That's life. Life is getting old. But so this is the only point where we get a chance to see that maybe he's being mind controlled.
Of my way.
But we don't even know, because it's RDI. We don't even know if that's actually Scorpion saying that, or if it's saying that, if he's saying that during that moment. So he could just be acting on his own accord. Remember also that Tombstone is in the movie, and we have yet to see him in any of the promotional material. But also, there's every chance that really it's all him that's the big bad guy, and he's just pitting all these, you know, lesser bad guys against each other and all against Spider-Man. It's entirely possible too, like he's the hidden villain. I just don't believe that. I just don't. Because Tarantula is someone who's cybernetically augmented, right? Scorpion is someone who's cybernetically augmented, right? Who else? Boomerang is potentially mutagenically or biologically altered in some way through, like, you know, gene splicing or whatever crazy shit goes on in the Marvel Universe regarding added enhanced strength and prescience. He's like a lesser known Hawkeye, or a lesser Hawkeye, right? But like if you take all of those, he's not really Hawkeye. He's more like a Batman, I guess. Because he's a guy, but he's got like a bunch of gadgets and a bunch of different boomerangs and stuff. But he's not like Captain Boomerang. He's a little better than, I guess, Captain Boomerang. I don't know. I know that's like DC versus Marvel, so they don't really have comparisons. But the Black Winter did devour the DC universe, and that was what the first Crisis was. So, but he's also a fun character, you know. I like Boomerang and I like Batman, both for different reasons. But yeah, so they were all enhanced in some way, potentially by some unscrupulous geneticists with a speciality in cybernetic enhancement, maybe. Who might know? Also, could be Smythe, Alistair Smythe, because he also, like, they had, like, a father-son situation, and he had the, spider bots? Spider killers, or no, what were they called? Spider? Something. Whatever. Point is, Smythe was also a big bad back in the day. But we're still talking about someone that has the ability to hop consciousnesses. So we're still talking some angle where, and it's obviously Sadie Sink's character. Like, it's not, there's no one else. We haven't seen her face, right, in anything. And so it has to be that, right? Azazel? Azazel is Smythe? Is Alistair Smythe's dad? What are you referring to? I know Azazel is somebody's dad in Marvel. No, Azazel can hop consciousnesses. You mean from that movie with Denzel Washington? The Demon Azazel? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Azazel in the Marvel universe is just more of a teleporter, like Nightcrawler, with the cat at the end. I mean, yeah, it's a shame that he died. It's a shame that he had to die just for Casey Jones to live in the end. But I'm trying to remember this as I'm talking, but I don't think I can do it. There was a fan theory a long time ago that said something about, like, the ending wasn't the end. Like, there was something like either Denzel Washington was actually Denzel Washington, who somehow had picked up the ability to hop consciousnesses. It was actually him that was that lived, or that he was simply hearing this sort of narration in his head as he was breathing his last breaths, and that Azazel really was dead and didn't actually jump any consciousnesses. Which, again, I think both are kind of stupid, but I don't know. I forget. I remember there was some fan theory about that.
You're losing it, kid.
And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
Okay, so I kind of want to go a little into what I think, what my ideal, like what I wish was happening. So obviously, I've already my theory was that Azazel jumped into the cat, but can't jump out of the cat because the cat is basically keeping imprisoned in there because they're the guardians of the underworld. When it walks away, it acts like a cat, not a person. Yeah, that's good. That's better. That's like a more wholesome fan theory, right? That's a more happy ending, I guess. More bittersweet. I like that one. So, if I'm just throwing balls to the walls and I'm guessing anything, like carte blanche, I get to guess anything I want, and this I get to put together the exactly what I think in my mind when I see these trailers. So Miles Warren is behind everything. I'll even go a little bit, I'll even say my most wild claim, my most insane fucking off-the-wall claim right now, okay? We see Spider-Man die. We see him die in this. But it's not really Peter. I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second to compose yourself. I'll give you a second to process what I just said. I know the music doesn't really fit the situation. Maybe we already killed him once, though, and kind of twice. Yeah. I think that this will introduce an element, and this is, I know this isn't going to happen. So this is what, like, I don't know how to say, this is what I am thinking in my head when I envision an imaginary, it's like an imaginary thing, it's a hypothetical thing, it's not real. I don't think this is going to happen. This is what I wish would happen. But then again, I have higher hopes for like what I wish would happen. If you just gave me an endless budget and said make it however you'd want, I would go way crazier than this. But I guess on a practicality scale, like this is what I think could potentially happen and what I would have liked to have seen. So Miles Warren's behind everything. Peter dies, but it's not really Peter. It ends up being Ben Reilly. But we don't really get his name or anything like that. We just know that it's not Peter. That's all. We just know it's not Peter. It's like, oh, that's not really Peter. But we think it's Peter who dies. Not we, but like everyone in the movie thinks that it's Peter who dies. So Peter was cloned when Warren got a sample of his blood when he went there to find out what was happening to him. So in laying this out, I think what I hope to do is bridge the two. So I know that none of this is going to happen, but I think something kind of in the middle has the potential to happen. You get what I'm saying? Well, you laid down like she just really wanted to lay down. She's like laid down with confidence. She was like, It was very cute. So let's say that somewhere in the movie, Peter went to Warren to get some answers about whatever was happening to him, and Warren decides to clone him. Hang on. Benjamin Reilly. No, we don't want to see his chasm persona. So, arguably, now that I see it, it definitely doesn't look like his outfit. Damn it! There's another thing that's making my theory crumble. Damn it. So, okay. What I was thinking was, I thought he was wearing a vest most of the time. Let me see. More pictures. More pictures of the Scarlet Spider. Yeah, he is wearing kind of like a gym hood sort of thing. Damn it. Alright, well that screws up my theory a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. But I feel like it's pretty common, I guess, for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to wear fucking hooded sweaters. I think he wore that like in other Spider-Man movies. Anyway, my point is, all right, I was pointing to his outfit. God damn it, totally doesn't look like it. Fuck. All right, well, whatever. If I had the chance, I would connect this to Ben Reilly in some way. He'd be wearing just like a normal gym top with his hoodie, you know, that kind of shit. And so when he dies at the end, you see actual Peter in a holding... Okay, I can fix this. I can fix my idea here. But yeah, I wonder if Spider-Man is the other... Or Spider-Man the Other is what they're referencing some from... Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope not, though, because nobody liked the totem thing. I think they're just taking elements from it. Obviously, they're not going to do that, like, whole thing. But, I mean, I think this whole thing is just to get him into Miles Warren's office, you know? And so instead of what we get, what we think is happening, I think, I don't think Peter will die at the end. I think they'll manage to defeat Miles Warren or whatever. But... in maybe a post-credits scene, so instead of all this, Peter doesn't die. Miles Warren is behind everything. All the mutation stuff is sort of harmless and more of an excuse to get Peter into Warren's office. So Warren will take samples from Peter, and at the end, like in a post-credit scene or something, we'll see like a tube where a clone Peter is growing. That could be how Ben Reilly would be introduced. I mean, and obviously Secret Wars is going to come up way before that. So, and there, it's not. Feige didn't say that it was going to be a complete reboot of the universe. It's just going to be a reboot of, like, it's just going to be a reboot of the storylines and everything. Like, it's basically what happened at the end of Endgame. Like, we're supposed to start, I mean, obviously WandaVision was a continuation. We had a lot of continuations, but I think they're going to restart it more harshly this time. They're going to be like actually a restart a story, but it's going to contain the existing, like, parts of the existing universe that worked, and they're going to keep doing those. So Spider-Man, I feel like, is going to remain untouched for the most part, other than whatever repercussions happen from Secret Wars and whatever impact they have on him. People may not remember anything, because I think for the longest time they didn't until the Beyonder came back. I'm pretty sure. No, Spider-Man didn't remember Secret Wars, did he? I'm pretty sure he didn't. He just kind of had the black suit one day, and he was like, where did I get this? No, because doesn't Beast tell him, like, oh, it's that time we went to Secret Wars? I forget. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been anywhere near Secret Wars 1. Arguably a worse story than Secret Wars 2015. Much worse. Alright, so, okay. I don't think Peter will die. I think Warren is the villain of the piece. And the mutation stuff, again, it seems like it's really early on in the movie. I don't think they're going to necessarily get a handle on it until the end of the movie, but I think it's very clear that, like, they're going to establish all this stuff early on. Because I think Marvel is kind of the mind now that people are way tired of all, like, the long drawn out storylines. They don't want things to trickle out of this sort of stuff. They want, like, impact, which I think still kind of follows the hero's journey. You know, like, there's still a 3-act structure and all that kind of stuff, but they want it punchier. We haven't even started talking about the hand yet.
Rebirth.
Secret Invasion? No, no. Secret Wars, you mean? Yeah, I definitely don't think we would get a Secret Invasion. I mean, they already tried that and it was bad. And we haven't heard mention of it since, nor have we seen a Skrull since. We did in the Marvels, but that was off planet, you know.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're,
No, I mean Secret Invasion. I'm saying we won't get it, but it's technically possible. I mean, in a better, like, actual, like, good telling, that'd be cool. But I don't know if they would do it if they're like, nah, audiences didn't like it the first time. You know, that'd be like a remake of a pretty new thing. And I would hope that it would be a different story. You know, a little bit more global instead of just like the tiny, like just a tiny thing. Yeah, I mean, it was like a really like small, a very like tiny slice of the Secret Invasion pie, and there wasn't any Varenki. Like I was like, why aren't we getting Varenki? Why aren't we getting like Varanaki or Varanaki? Varanaki. Like, why don't we have the actual queen who's like doing stuff like behind the scenes and shit? And then there was no Super Skrulls. There's no, well, no, there was kind of. They became Super Skrulls at the end. It was weird. It felt really rushed and disjointed.
housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
All right, let's watch the second one, and then I will give my thoughts and think of give my interpretation of what I think is happening. Just like before.
What is happening to me? Did you miss me, Spidey? I'm losing my mind.
So I think all that is happening. All that's real. All that's exactly what's going on. The RDI obviously isn't part of it. Like, it's not. There's no. He's not saying what's happening to me or anything like that. I don't think it's obviously just a voiceover for the trailer. But I think all this, what's happening in this scene, is exactly what's happening. Is it raining? No, it's just really windy.
I am totally out of control. I gotta fix whatever this is right now.
Final semester MIT.
Dad, who do you think is actually watching these?
Maybe someone.
Okay, well, bye, someone.
So I don't think that he goes to school specifically to find out what's happening with him. I think he's already going to school.
What the?
See? Did you see that?
What the?
So, organic web shooters. Pretty clear at this point. It is very The Other. But I think people were way more thinking Man Spider. And not, I think when people think of The Other, I think what they're more thinking of is Man Spider from the animated series. Not people who are familiar with the comics, but I think people who are like trying to follow these trends where they look online and they see a listicle of all the things that Spider-Man could be doing, and they see like a short retelling of what The Other was like, and they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, but they're actually remembering the Man Spider from the animated series, which was a cool design, and they just kind of did sort of in Spider-Man, or in the Spider-Noir, like kind of their own version of that. But like it would make sense, and it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility to have him turn into sort of like a spider. I don't really know if I even watched that. It's let me see if I can put a frame of reference on here. Picture was up. There you go. Man Spider. But I really hope that at some point we get to see like some extra hands growing out of him. You know? Yeah, kind of like the Man-Bat. Exactly. A genetic mistake, you know, mutation. It could be that whatever, you know, Miles Warren does is like trying to discredit Spider-Man as a whole and like try to turn him into basically a version of the Hulk. But then it wouldn't explain anything else that goes on in this trailer. So it just that's just such a I don't think that's a possibility. But what is it? But what is happening? You know what I mean? Like, if it's not that, what is it? Is he just mutating? Did anything cause it? Like, was it the emerging celestial? Was it extra gamma radiation? Was it being gone? You know, it rewrote his DNA. Like in rewriting his DNA, it was like there's a mutation, and that's how mutants came about. All the people that blipped back are now have the X gene. Many possibilities, very few answers.
Banner, you found a way to suppress mutating DNA, right?
If you see me with this stuff, run.
So could you get rid of the bad aspects but keep the good?
How would you decide what parts of nature are good or bad?
Sorry about that.
You're not one of my students, are you?
It appears we're facing.
Ooh, 50% of the population are mutants. Now we're gonna need a House of M. Dude, if you saw like my map, the map that I made for what I would like the MCU to be, there is a House of M directly after Secret Wars. Like when they all come back, I think Wanda, something happens. I think they did get the X gene when they came back. I think that's how I explained it. It's probably why I'm remembering it right now. But like, mutants are around. And she still didn't get her kids back, and so she just does the whole like reality warping thing and does the whole House of M. But that's like she actually has in my universe, she is Pietro's sister. Sisters, and they are kids of Magneto, like like they're supposed to be.
It's with a threat we can't control, one we can't even see. You're the only.
So obviously, all of this, I not obviously, but I just don't see any of this being in the first act. I see all of this happening in the third act. But I mean, this could just be happening way earlier in the movie. He doesn't look the way like in the other one. Oh, goddammit. In the other one, damn it. There we go. In the other one, Frank does not look.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a van!
Put your.
There we go. No, I guess so. Yeah. He does kind of look like that. Okay, fair enough.
One who's immune to it.
But like, he's obviously not the only one who's immune to it.
Control, one we can't even see. You're the only one who's immune to.
Right? So she does what you remember, or what I think all of us remember as sort of the Patrick Stewart era X-Men, Charles Xavier freezing people in place with a psychic blast. It definitely, all they did in those movies were people just stopped moving. But in this, obviously, there's like a visual effect. There's way higher budget, more modern special effects that we can incorporate into that. And plus, everyone has to have, like, in those productions, people have to have a psychic projection. They have to have some sort of psychic manifestation of their power, even if it's just something subtle like this, like just a clear thing, as opposed to like Psylocke would have like purple shit. Jean would have pink shit too. Like that's her. I think her color's like pink and red. And then when she's phoenixed out, it's all like, fire colors.
Who's immune to it. You're the only one who can sense it.
And what do you think they're looking for?
Oh, see, you stumbled across my board.
Sadie Sink playing Charles Xavier. Yeah. No. Cancel.
Sorry, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, good.
Let's try again.
No. Cancel. I don't want to try again. Stop. Shut up. Stop listening to me, phone. Sadie. Not the other one. Yeesh.
I'm not one of those weirdos, I swear.
He's a little weird. I'm MJ.
You two don't know each other?
Yo, Spider-Man, you okay? You can get rid of that monster inside you?
Think I might go see how MJ's doing.
You're not gonna get away with this.
But he might.
I didn't know you could get that big.
So, I don't think that Jean would be like that antagonistic. Like she's I mean, I guess she, like, they've tried to reinvent her over the years a bunch of different times, and she's always kind of been like headstrong but really disciplined, you know, like she has to keep her psychic powers in check because and like they told her that from a really young age. She knew that from the time she was a kid to when she like became a hero. Like she knew that she had to keep her psychic powers in check, so she was always kind of monitoring, you know, her abilities and shit. She was, you know, I guess maybe the term the term I'm looking for isn't headstrong. It's more like she was confident. She was confident in her abilities, but never antagonistic. Never like, I guess I should go pay MJ a visit, you know? So that's like the biggest argument for me against the consciousness hopper being Jean Grey. Like I just that either that or somebody's influencing her directly, because like she wouldn't, like, she's not just gonna say those words because you're like, you know, brainwashing her. That she's not straight up a bad guy, and she wouldn't, I don't think that she would be the Phoenix at this point, because why the fuck would you introduce the Phoenix at this point and in this movie? It's already weird that you're introducing Jean Grey. But you get what I'm saying? Like I can't. The only other entity that it could possibly be is the Shadow King, unless Miles Warren has found a way to get into somebody's consciousness. He can't transfer consciousnesses, right? Like he just doesn't have that power. Like he's not a mutant. He's not a supervillain. He has a weird beast body at one point, but most of the time he's just a dude. I don't even think the Phoenix would do that because it gives no fucks. Yeah, I mean it doesn't really concern itself with the matters of mortal men. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. Dispassionate is I think an understatement for the Phoenix.
But you're in danger. You just have to trust me.
Fine.
This whole thing can get really scary.
Who the hell is that?
Who the hell are you?
Frank, please. I don't have anywhere else to go.
By the people who love you.
Just gonna let him go by himself?
And it feels like if there's a voiceover from May, I don't think that it's gonna just be like, I think that he's gonna be seeing a vision of May at some point. And I think that's like this is sort of his rally call when he's down and out, like in maybe the end of the third act, you know?
Love you because you're...
Now, Cynical, I don't know if you're this obsessed with comic books, but I just want to put it out there. What if that was Quainan? What if the leader here of the hand...
Just gonna let him go by himself?
What if that's Quainan? Does that give you an indication of who I think Sadie Sink might be if she's not Jean Grey? I think that would give it away. If this is Quainan, and if you know who Quainan is, she was associated with the Hand. She was the leader of the Hand at one point. Their best assassin, several different points. And if that's Quainan, and she's somehow in New York, somehow where a bright red-headed telepath might be, their fates throwing them together, supposedly. Any ideas? But what if that's Quainan?
Because you're you.
If you're gonna do something, you better do it now.
Never forget that. No matter how powerful you become. I miss you, May.
I love the Marvel Rivals ultimate that he does here.
Powerful you become.
You get a web, and you get a web, you get a web, you get a web.
I miss you, May.
Huh. All right, just give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm not in high school anymore.
I think that she's proto-Psylocke. I think she's Betsy Braddock. I think that Sadie Sink, if she's not playing Jean Grey, because they haven't specifically stated who she's playing yet, if she's not playing Jean Grey, I think she's Betsy Braddock. I don't think she's Firestar. I don't think that she's any of these extras. I think that she is probably a central character to one of the final parts of the multiversal curve, but also someone who is well acquainted with both, mystical shit, multiversal shit. She literally hopped consciousnesses, like just straight up hopped consciousnesses already. She can't be Elektra because Elodie Young is coming back as Elektra for season 3, Born Again, as Elektra, and they share a universe, so she can't be that. Typhoid Mary, that'd be the weirdest mutant to introduce for your first mutant on screen for this iteration of the MCU. That'd be weird. That'd be weird. Though, I guess it would kind of tie in with Daredevil, since Kingpin's married to Typhoid Mary at some point, and he did just lose Vanessa. So it could tie them in. It could be like, hey, we're integrating everything, It's just so weird. It's so weird and I feel like Sadie Sink having a multi-film deal, I guess she could appear with, but also, why would she be with Kingpin? She wouldn't marry him in this universe because they're like 40 years apart. That's why I mentioned Elektra or Typhoid Mary. Yeah. Because she's supposed to be, in the comics, she's married to Kingpin. So it would be weird. Although they're still married. They were married in the Krakoa era. Yeah. Isn't that funny? What if they got together? She's 20 and he's 80. She could be his adopted daughter. Yeah, definitely. I would be way more ethical than them getting together. I think it would be really cool if they started the Orcus arc, or Orcus? Yeah, Orcus. If they started the Orcus arc, did a whole Krakoa thing. Because now they got all these mutants. What the fuck are they supposed to do with all these mutants?
Or, did you stretch? You a big stretcher? It's so good for you. You ready?
So yeah, that's my reveal of what I think, what I wish, what I hope would happen in Spider-Man Brand New Day, is that I think Sadie Sink could potentially, might possibly, probably isn't, but I really hope would be Betsy Braddock. Not at the beginning of her entire thing. Not Spiral, not Psylocke, not having transferred consciousness to Quainon, not died, not come back. None of this stuff has happened to her yet, but it opens up a whole well of possibilities. Betsy Braddock means that we would be introduced to Brian Braddock. Betsy Braddock being a mutant means that we'd be introduced to the whole world of mutants without having to introduce one of the central mutants to the X-Men and not the X-Men, having to explain that later. She can just be an accessory character because Betsy Braddock's just kind of boring. Not boring, kind of cool, but only later on, right? And so you have her whole early history to play around with. If she comes out with a goddamn UK accent, although to be honest, I think Betsy Braddock grew up in America. She might have grown up in England and then just moved to America. Betsy Braddock. Elizabeth Braddock. Also, since so many people liked Captain Britain, it would make sense to have one of his direct relatives Where did you grow up? God damn, there's a big history. Yada yada. Telepathic tragedy. Seven Braddock's parents perish. Wait, what? Where the fuck is Betsy here? It doesn't say where she was born or anything? Oh, here we go. Here it is. Sir James established a distinguished career as a research scientist, married Lady Braddock, and set up home at Braddock Manor. They welcomed their first child, Jamie, whose subverted genetic makeup prevented him from becoming the hero Merlin had expected. Approximately a decade later, the Braddocks were blessed with twins, Elizabeth and affectionately called Betsy and Brian. Okay, so in England. Okay. Yeah, okay, so she does have an accent. So if I hear a UK accent coming out of Sadie Sink, I'll know that I'm right. Alright. That's right. I'm doing all these hand signs that show that I am a graceful human being. You can see me Vogue, etc. Anywho, I feel like I did a good job of explaining all that. We meandered.
Go home.
We meandered constantly. We went off on tangents, and I didn't complete any of this. I didn't complete the movie. But basically, if you know, if Quinan's involved, then that would be cool. She could, like, I don't know. I don't think that that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know how that would all tie together. It really just makes more sense that this is kind of a more straightforward story. Like, you know, he's just dealing with a lot of trauma and a lot of shit that's going on, and he's just not able to find himself in the world. Gorgon? Like the Gorgons? Like the Gorgons? Oh yeah, no, see, you're going with like the most likely scenarios here. No, she's actually her character is named in the IMDb, I'm pretty sure. Like I'm pretty sure that she has a named part, and it's nothing close to Quinan. Oh yeah, I forgot Ramrod's in it. Oh no, MJ's actually has a boyfriend. Like, that's actually her boyfriend. Ouch. Ow. Ouchie. Pain. Where the hell? Where is she? She's not even on here. I don't even see her face on here. What? What is this travesty? Who is the leader of the Hand? Mariko Yashida. Do you remember that? Do you remember that name? I do. Think back to The Wolverine. She was in it. Yeah, it sucks for Peter being non-existent and then forgotten after he came back. Yeah, for real though. Daredevil was for a bit, Kingpin 2, but I don't remember everybody that's been in control of it. Of the Hand? Yashida clan, apparently. Well, shit, we got there. Yeah, during the Shadowland event? Oh. Well, holy shit. Yeah, that's that story arc, I assume. So yeah, I think I'm not quite certain about why the Hand is involved. And it could be like Miles Warren is like, you know, that's his personal army, because maybe he works on their all their genetic, because they resurrect themselves, and in the second season of Daredevil he kind of set back their operation a little bit because Barakuskai was, I guess, taken off the board when Elektra fell into that pit. But they were resurrecting her at the end of the season, so I don't know. I don't know what their powers are. I don't know what their resurrection powers are right now, in terms of the Hand from the Daredevil show. But I know that perhaps they probably still, or I think they might possibly still need some assistance when it comes down to them being living corpses, essentially. So maybe they might go to Miles Warren for their medicine, and so he's valuable to them, and so they want to keep him protected, and so he probably maybe has his own little private army, your own little private army of Hand soldiers, perhaps. I don't know, but I can only speculate on that. My biggest question here is she playing Jean Grey because it still hasn't been confirmed yet, or is there still room for speculation? And if she's not Jean Grey, then who? You know, I think it's pretty clear at this point that she's probably just playing Jean Grey. I still have to wonder why. I'm still a little confused as to how they're going to explain her being a villain in this. If it's not Miles Warren, if it's not someone bigger, if it's not some, hidden villain behind the scenes, because Tombstone wouldn't do it for me. Tombstone is just a gangster. He's never been anything more than just a gangster. He's not a big orchestrator of events. He's not someone who's a super villain. He's definitely a super in terms of having unbreakable skin. He's very much like Luke Cage, but I don't know. He's not a top level villain. I mean, he has been definitely but he gets other villains in his team on his side and shit. I said this before, but I want the Hood to show up. You want the clothing garment, the Hood, from the villain, the Hood, or you want the character who was in Ironheart himself to show up? Because I think didn't he get killed at the end? Didn't they take him out? Didn't what's his face take him out? Mephisto. Pretty sure, isn't that what happened? He got taken out, I guess. I think he burst into flames or something. I don't remember. But what's her face made a deal with him. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. It's a confusing place to be, but I'm really excited to see the movie. And I'm very excited to find out what the twists and the turns are. And I don't think that I'm very interested in being oh, I was the first person to say this or that, but I would feel pretty fulfilled if my speculation came true. Parker Robbins, yeah. But I would feel some fulfillment if my speculation came true, because every time my wife puts on a goddamn movie, I can always guess the plot. I can always be yo, I know exactly what's happening here. And then I just say everything, and it happens, and then she's like, you gotta stop doing this. But it's, I think, what is this phenomenon? So basically what I think I'm saying is that I really wish that the fan speculation came true just once, because I want to see that big epic comic book shit happen on screen. I don't want it to just keep living in our minds. When I was a kid, I know that the biggest thing that happened for me was when, in terms of narrative storytelling, was when the superhero comics went on to the big screen. When Spider-Man came out, Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. I was like, yes, finally, holy shit. All of my favorite shit's going onto the screen, and I can actually see it in movie theaters now. The next best thing would be for superheroes to become real in real life. You know what I mean? Like, that's the next step in the evolution. That'll never happen, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the cool thing to me. And like, I just now I just want to actually see them do comic book level stuff, you know? Like, you see all this wonderful artwork that's made by these really, really talented people, and that's also what I want to see on the screen. You know, I want to see these huge set pieces. I want to see like this. I don't care if it's all on a green screen. But like, preferably it would be like somewhat practical with being touched up with digital effects. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I want grandeur. I want like a you know, universe spanning stories and stuff. You know, I feel like we kind of started to get there, and then people were like, nah, you know, I want more ground level shit. And then the MCU was like, and then like did this like fucking left turn. But you know what I mean? Like, I want those visuals. I want the disco lights. I want, if fucking Supergirl, if all they did was they took this thing to Tom King, they took this thing to the director and said, do Tom King, do this, do exactly this, exactly the visuals, as close as you can get with who we've got, and just do that. Then you wouldn't, like, the movie would be so fucking spectacular that people wouldn't even have time to be misogynist about it. Fuck, man. And then Cream of the goddamn Yellow Hills wouldn't be like a Ravager from goddamn Thor. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. I still think that people are going to, like, realize at some point that Supergirl's a good movie, though. I mean, I think most of the people who I have watched review it are like it's obviously not going to be the movie of the summer, but it was serviceable. It was a good movie. It was like, okay, it was good. It's good. And then we move on, you know? But I think that's kind of, that eats into those YouTubers' profits, because they can't profit from the either the really goodness or the really shittiness of it, you know? So mid movies are like cancer for I think film review YouTubers. I think that's what I've come up with. Did you play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? No, but I did watch a full walkthrough once. It was very entertaining, because when I played, I was like, well, this actually feels like I'm watching a new Golden Era Indiana Jones movie, except I'm playing it. Troy Baker. Fuck yeah, Troy Baker. VO as a young Harrison Ford was so incredible. The producer was tricked into thinking his demo reel was actually a reference tape of the old Harrison Ford lines. Fuck yeah, dude. Troy Baker's cool. I mean, you know, he's definitely a character. He's been on screen a few times, but mostly just voice acting, right? I think he had a couple of parts in Last of Us. I think he was in a Batman thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's been in a few things that have kind of like honored him for his voices over the years. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I haven't seen him do much more other. But I think he's capable. You know, he does some live plays, doesn't he? He's been on some streams. But yeah, he seems like a talented guy that I don't think is really like shot for the stars yet. Though he could. He could be like the voice of Batman now that what's-his-face is gone. He's got a perfect Batman voice. But then again, so does Jensen Ackles. That's a tough one. You know? Although I would love to audition to play the Batman for the rest of my life. That would be really cool. I mean, not in person, but like in voice, like that'd be cool. I would love to do that. I don't have a deep enough voice or gravelly enough. He's pretty much the most prolific voice actor in video games. I would say, yeah. Who else is it? Troy Baker, Phil Lamar is really well known in the voice. Is really like just storied, like has a huge resume. Who else? God, I'm blanking on all the names. The only one I can think of is Mel LeBlanc. Which is like such an old reference. Oh, God. I am old. I am old. Matthew Mercer, yeah, okay. I've definitely, I don't watch a lot of anime, but I've definitely heard that name passed around in those circles. Fuck, the guy that played Bender. His voice, McNeil, Tress McNeil. He's pretty famous. And then H. John Benjamin, done a lot of voices. You recognize those voices though. Like, I'm trying to think of people who's just like prolific. He's Vincent in the FF7 remake. That's cool. I haven't played any of those remakes. I think it's just FF7 right now, right? Oh, hang on. Sorry. I was gonna end the stream anyway, but I gotta take care of this thing with my refrigerator. GM for Critical Role. Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing about that. Wasn't he like one of the people who like started Critical Role? First, the Edge he's not just GM of the fourth, but he plays in the fourth. Oh, okay, yeah. So he's been ever present. All right, I'm gonna end the stream now. It is that time. I said that I was gonna be back at 5 yesterday, but I accidentally got drunk. I didn't accidentally get drunk. I made the choice to get drunk, but I always have the intent in my heart, in my mind, and then I just start having fun. And so then I'm just like, nah, fuck it. But this week is the week that I'm trying to transition into trying to stream at night and not alienate everyone who's been watching so far. So I'm kind of trying to like bridge those two gaps by doing later streams, and then really trying to be not lazy and do streams later on, because we will eventually, at least starting next week, we will be starting streaming at night only. I'll be starting at 5 and going to around 10 o'clock. And we'll be doing mostly just video game stuff, but also kind of like, terrible food commentary, stuff that I can stay quiet, not get like crazy mad or surprised or scared at, so I don't wake the wife. But I would love to spend the daytime mostly doing production stuff. If I'm doing prep for like a gig, or if I'm doing like, shopping or running around and things like that, I'd love to be like writing scripts and thinking about like production stuff, and then actually doing production stuff. It's going to put more work on me, but I think what we're going to end up with is more regular video uploads, which are actually like going to be produced and stuff, instead of just me editing down my streams, which I'm still being lazy about. I still have like 3 of those that are coming out. But I'll be able to be having a bit more of a dedication to that. I'll be playing around with the green screen a little bit more. I'll actually be making like produced videos that are substantive and hopefully edutational, about topics that I like, that I want to cover. And I think that'll be fun. And then doing streams at night. I'm still working my way up in the watch time, which is I think it's the most important metric for YouTube right now. So I'm still working on that, and yeah, I think I've got a plan. Just gotta execute, and I'm reshaping the channels. I'm trying to, not reshaping, but I'm trying to add production details that are more relevant instead of just random bullshit that I put together. So like my icons are not going to be just a random picture of an old man with a bird on his head. It's actually going to be like PFPs that are relevant to my brand and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to get a little bit more serious about it, be a little bit more dedicated, and really try to put some elbow grease into getting this stuff off the ground. So I appreciate you guys sticking it out. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And I'll see y'all maybe tonight. Maybe not. But thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Bye, Cynical. Have a good one.